another edition of the Pigskin Preview. As you can see, we're doing a little festive holiday theme here on the show. Alongside the head coach of the Western Illinois football team, Bob Nielsen, I'm Andrew Bacon. This past weekend, the Leathernecks fell 27-13 to Missouri Valley foe Northern Iowa at Hanson Field. This would be the 7th game playing against either a ranked opponent at the FCS level or a FBS team. Coach, what were your overall thoughts on the game?
Disappointed with our effort in the first half. It was the first time I honestly can say that all year. I thought we played a little flat. I don't know if it was a combination of the schedule finally wearing on us or some of the injuries that have mounted, but we just didn't play as well in the first half as we had the last few weeks, and as a result got ourselves behind, and Northern Iowa is not the kind of team that you want to play from behind against.
All right, let's send down to WIU TV3 commentators Drew Hoffman and Tyler Eddy for the first half highlight.
We're going to see Carnes first. It's going to be a fake handoff. Carnes keeping it on the ground, slicing his way, and then being wrapped up and brought to the ground around the 41-42 yard line. So first third down of the day. Carnes flushed out of the pocket. Chip Holschlag in pursuit, cutting off his chance at the sideline. And he's going to find a wide open receiver. David Johnson out there right now. He's getting the job done. Carnes back to pass, looking over the middle of the field. He's got a wide open lane across the middle. And that one was almost picked off by Jonathan Rollins as he was reading that quarterback. So third and, I'd say long. Carnes rolling out to his right again, taking his time into the end zone. That one's going to be batted away again as Western comes up big on third down. That time the stop was made by the man who leads the team in tackles, Kevin Kent's points for him, which is just an amazing feat, as that one is up, and it's barely going to get through that upright. That's going to be good, and that's going to be the opening score here at Hanson Field. So UNI marches down, picks up a field goal, and it's 3-0.
UNI in pretty good field position.
Here's Carnes, back to pass, plenty of time. He's going to scramble out of the pocket. Holschlag in pursuit. He's going to run out of bounds after picking up about 5. So Carnes, even though he's back to pass, he's still thinking about moving that ball with his feet. We talk about UNI's defense, but this Western's defense is nothing to bat an eye at either. Carnes back to pass again. He's got a wide open guy in the flat. Carnes in the shotgun. It's going to be a give to Johnson. Johnson trying to sweep his way up the left side, but it's a good pull to the outside as Ricketts and Holschlag basically drug out their defenders. It'll be a give to Johnson. This time it's going to be up the right side, and he's going to dive into the end zone. And that's going to be your first touchdown of the day, and it's going to come from one of them preseason All-Americans, and David Johnson. Now out there to hold down third down. It's 3rd and 5. The give is to Johnson up the gut, and he's got a lot of room to work with. Still on his feet. Got to beat 2 guys, and he's going to get tackled from behind by Davis. And there on the stop as well is J.J. Raffleson. 2nd and 6. The give is in the backfield. And guess who else is in the backfield? That's Gavin Ricketts. And it'll be a tackle for a loss as Johnson was completely blindsided. Western with a ton of guys in the secondary. Kinzel moving toward the middle. It'll be a short pass to the outside to Brown, and Brown diving forward. It looks like he got enough for a first down, and he did, pulling him in check. It'll be Johnson again, diving through, trying to get through. Motion in the backfield. It's going to give to Johnson right up the middle, and he's going to get pushed back, and depending on the spot, it looks like he is just a little short.
Panthers.
Carnes in the shotgun. He's going to rush it himself. And from where he's fallen down at, they're going to give him literally a couple inches, and they're going to pick up the first down. It'll be 1st and 10 for the 15-yard line. Your score is 10-0 as UNI scored on their first 2 offensive series, and they're looking to put some more points up on the board now. Carnes flushed out. He had a guy on the sideline, but they're going to call it incomplete as he was out of bounds and then came back inbounds. It was a nice catch there made by Brown. Carnes back to pass, looking over the middle of the field. He's got a couple guys in the middle of the end zone, and depending if he got a foot in, that's a touchdown. What an amazing catch. Deep in the end zone. I want to say that was LeMaster. No, it's not LeMaster.
I believe it was Chad Owens.
That's Chad Owens.
By Eddie Holtzschlag and the rest of the Western Illinois defense.
That kick's gonna be blocked. And it's going to take a Western roll even, as Western is going to start this drive at about the 34-yard line.
A few yards more.
Norvell going after it all. He's got a wide open Heisey Scott. And that's 6 for Western as we're up on the board now. 20-6. Heisey Scott untouched.
What was the key to you and I setting the tone early?
Offensively, they converted on third downs. They kept drives alive. We actually had them on in off-schedule situations several times during the first half. Their quarterback that was playing really for the first time all year as the number one guy and the guy that was going to play the entire game, Carnes, had a good first half. He made some plays with his feet, made some good throws, and as a result, they put points on the board, and we struggled offensively. They have a very good defensive football team. We knew moving the football with consistency was going to be difficult, and we were unable to do it in the first half.
All right, stay tuned. We'll be back after a quick commercial break. You're watching the Pigskin Preview, home for Fighting Leatherneck Football. Welcome back to the Pigskin Preview. Western trail 20-7 at the half. What adjustments needed to be made?
Third down conversions were an issue, both offensively and defensively. Defensively, we decided to go back to pressuring a little bit more. We had gone to more coverage and not anticipating that their quarterback would be able to make the plays throwing the football that he did. And I think that worked very well. We were able to keep him off the field and keep him from driving the football in the second half. Offensively, we just never got a running game going. We knew with their 4 seniors that played at the inside linebackers and a defensive tackle, that we could struggle a little bit there, and figured we'd have to rely on throwing the football a little bit more. But it made us a little herky-jerky offensively. We'd make a big play and then would have a hard time converting in third down. And as a result, when you're not consistent offensively, you're not going to score many points.
All right, let's go ahead and check out the second half.
Carnes in the shotgun. He's got Johnson in the backfield. And a very awkward formation. That's going to be a completed pass to Vereen. And he'll be brought down by McDaniel. It'll be 2nd and 8. 4 receivers out for Carnes. He's looking out over the middle. He's got a wide open, and I'm talking wide open Brown. You and I is trying to piece some points together. Quick pass to the outside. Quick pass to the outside. It is completed. As they're looking at 3rd and 2, it's going to be a shovel to the outside. And now it's a fake. It's now a pass back to the other side. And Holtzschlag, the only guy actually reading the play, to give to Johnson. Johnson getting up that sideline. He's got a couple guys to beat. Still on his feet, and he's in the end zone. That's David Johnson. Really using his legs well today, as he's now well over 130 yards of the day, and that'll be touchdown number 2. Over 200. It's going to be a give to Baker, and Baker, that's the first sign of life we've really seen out of him. Baker in motion in the backfield. It's going to be a give to Baker. Baker shaking. Bacon still on his feet, brought down at the 45 on the other side. Norvell back to pass. He's looking deep. He wants it all. He's got Morellis making an adjustment on the ball, and then get in there. Reservations for 6. But Darius Morellis making a huge impact on this game as he gives Western some life. And it's now 13-27.
WIU lost to the 23rd ranked team in the nation, 27-13. Let's check out the box score. Trenton Norvell finished 20 of 42 for 310 yards. Interesting enough, that's 2 consecutive weeks of exactly 310 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Lance Lenore, 5 receptions for 106 yards, another 100-yard performance by Lance. The defense as a whole had 9 tackles for loss, 4 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. Carnes for Northern Iowa finished 19 of 33 for 239 yards and a touchdown. David Johnson, 29 carries, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he even threw a pass. Kevin Vereen, 6 receptions for 84 yards. Coach, can you talk about how the defense came ready to play in the third quarter?
They came out and really did what they had to do, and that's put them in third down situations and then play well on third down. And in the first half, we struggled doing that. The second half, we were able to do that, and they got the ball back for us offensively. Disappointing that we couldn't do more with it. And really, what hurt us offensively in the second half is turnovers. We turned the ball over 3 times in the second half, all in Northern Iowa territory. And against a team that's that good defensively, you've got to take advantage of those scoring opportunities.
One of your defensive backs, the big special teamers, David McDaniel, had 2 blocked punts. Talk about his performance and how the special teams did.
I think it was one of our better games in terms of special teams play overall. We had a kickoff return that set up a good field position, and one of our scores, the blocked punts, even though they ended up still being positive yardage punts, it helped impact field position, and one of those ended up being field position for one of our scores as well. I thought Nate Knuffman maybe had his best game of his career punting the football too. He just had to punt too often.
How hard was it to find that consistency on offense and defense Saturday?
Well, when you can't rush the football effectively, you become one-dimensional, and one-dimensional teams in this league are not going to be very productive. And I think that was a disappointing thing. We felt that we could create a little bit of space in our running game, even though it wasn't going to be a day where we were going to have a couple hundred yards rushing against their defensive front. But any rushing yardage that we could have generated could have taken some pressure off our passing game. And the other thing that didn't help is we got behind from the very beginning. And so in the fourth quarter, we were pretty much exclusively trying to throw the football in catch-up mode.
Earlier, you talked about Northern Iowa was very successful on third down to begin with. Western, though, was only 1 of 13 on third downs.
That's really disappointing. We work hard at third downs. Some of that was we got ourselves into too many off-schedule third down situations, and some of it was we just didn't execute very well. And we work, during the bye week. That will be one of the points of emphasis is to work on our third down execution, our third down play calling, and to gain more confidence offensively in those situations.
Coaches from the German Football League Cologne Falcons visited Hansen Field and were on the sidelines this past weekend. Coach, how did that relationship start?
Well, Martin Hanselman, who's currently the head coach of the Cologne Falcons and really one of the pioneers of American football in Germany, and I have known each other for the better part of 25 years now, and we've developed a relationship over the years that's really based on the game of football. And I've taken 2 teams to Germany in my career where we've hooked up with teams that he's coached as part of a international exchange, and then he's brought groups of coaches over to the U.S. multiple times, and I've gone over and done clinics for the American football coaches in Germany a couple of times. And so they had a group of coaches that were here that shadowed our staff during the week in a clinic-type setting and attended the game one Saturday.
Most importantly, Coach, who's won those 2 head-to-head battles?
Well, the American football in Germany is significantly behind our game in the United States, and so the Division III teams that I took over, had a great deal of success against the German teams that we played against.
And then also, Coach, last spring you were able to go up there for a conference. You were able to speak there. Talk a little bit about what that experience was like personally and what you kind of learned from them. It's
great to kind of see football growing at its grassroots. So we don't understand, I think, how, because of how sophisticated the game is in our country, how these other countries love the sport, but it's not like it is in the U.S. where it's the top sport in the country in terms of spectator attendance. They're competing with soccer in Europe as for the use of fields but they're very interested. They're very intrigued. The clinic that I spoke at was hosted at the Adidas international headquarters in Germany, and so that was a neat experience to be there and to see these people that really didn't grow up playing the game wanting to learn the game.
How do you see that relationship with America and the Germans and other European countries building?
Well, one of the things that you're going to see this summer is the World Championships of Football, which is something that has been going, but just recently the U.S. has began participating in it. And so every 4 years there will be a world championship of football. The U.S. will obviously be the heavy favorite to win that. But you're also seeing American football now being played in Japan, in Mexico, as well as throughout Europe.
Do you think that'll make recruiting different at the college level at all?
Yeah, there's several international players that are playing in the U.S. right now. I've had international players before, most of them through connections that I have in Germany, and I think that's going to continue to grow. I think right now there's 4 or 5 international players that are playing in the NFL that have come through either European youth programs or programs from around the world.
All right, it is now time for another break, but stay tuned as we take an in-depth look at Dakari Calhoun, the WIU football equipment manager, along with one of his staff members, Lane Staple. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the Pigskin Preview. Both Dakari Calhoun and Lane Staple have played a pivotal role in the Western Illinois football department as the equipment managers. Dakari, also known as D, first was the equipment manager at Florida A&M. After working there, he continued that position for the Jacksonville Jaguars, an arena football team called the Tallahassee Titans, William and Mary, and finally here at Western Illinois University. While Lane's journey started as a manager of his high school football team, once coming to WIU, Lane would become a part of the football staff. This is their story.
I wanted to continue playing football, but due to health problems as far as injuries and back, I talked to my coach at that time, and I said I still want to be a part of the team, and he was like, well, work in the equipment room. And it was weird at first, but I learned under George Godfather Thomas. He was there for 45 years, learning the basics of how to fit helmets, fit shoulder pads, fix them, issue, and from then on, it just grew on to me, and I learned, and I loved it since that day.
During high school, I was equipment manager for my football team. And my coach, the head coach, who came up to me, asked if I want to do this in my future. So I was like, yeah, I'll do that. So he's like, I knew Coach Hinn, the former head coach here. And he's like, I could talk to him and maybe get you a job with that. So I applied to Western, got accepted, and when I came here, I talked to Susan, the old secretary, and she got me in touch with Micah, the head film guy, and I filmed for a year, and then I worked with D1 game, and that's how I became equipment manager.
A big part of being an equipment manager for the Leatherneck football team is game day preparation. For athletes, game day starts on Saturday. For an equipment manager, it all starts on Friday.
A game day preparation for home on Friday. After the guys leave the locker room, equipment managers will go in, put jerseys on shoulder pads, put game pants in the locker, make sure their game loop is there, make sure everybody has what they need for tomorrow's game. And
make sure everything's presentable, and we finish up laundry for the next day game.
Saturday, I come in early. My managers are usually here 5 hours before game time.
And then for game days, we come here, we set up the field, and then we test out headsets, which I'm mainly in charge of here.
Test our headsets. We do test it 3 or 4 times before the game time. Usually when you have headsets, frequencies could be messed up, so you want to check it before. No fans there, fans starting to get there, fans are there, and right before the game.
And then I go out on the field 90 minutes before to help the specialists and everything warm up.
Then we come back in, just some guys may need some stuff that we overlook, or hey, it's a little cold out for me, can I get my thermal, can I get this little stuff. We kind of relax during the game because the game is going on. We're watching the field. Lane's our kicker guy, special teams guy. He kick off, he goes out there and run and get the tee. My other managers are, because you have those guys who leave stuff in the locker room, players, and I'll run managers back in and say, hey, go get this person's mouthpiece, he left it. But we kind of relax, and usually with 2 minutes left in the game, if it's not a close game, we'll start looking around and That means start, at least picking up some stuff, especially when you're on away games. Coach is not waiting for, you, so you got to beat the coaches and the players out to the bus and make sure you have the locker room cleaned up.
Equipment managers may not have the most glorious job in the world. However, there are quite a few perks to being in this field.
Seeing athletes come in and my managers come in as, high school students, which they believe they're a grown person. I'm grown, I'm out of my family house, but seeing them grow every year and they're not going back to, I'm just leaving home. I tell my managers all the time, hey, when you're doing good, I'll go to bat for you. When you're wrong, you're wrong. If you get in trouble, don't call me, call your parents. So I kind of keep it honest with them, and they know, they really do know. And it's like seeing my managers grow and want to actually be in the business of equipment manager is real. That's real lightning.
Rewarding job is able to go to places. I've been to Vegas, I've been to Wisconsin, I've been to Minnesota. I've been to a lot of cool places in my 3 years of doing this, and it's been really fun.
Like most jobs, there are both pros and cons to working as an equipment manager. Both Dakari and Lane have their own biggest challenge on the job.
Toughest part of the job is probably loading up the buses after a game, because we want to get out of there so we can get home, so we have a deadline, we have to meet that deadline.
Remembering everybody's sizes, not just player sizes, your staff, coaches, administration, t-shirt short sizes, undergarments, shoe size. I think that's probably just remembering it. A lot of my managers ask me, because when we go to the locker room, I say, oh, that's that person, that's that person. They're like, how do you know it? It's like, it just grows with you. You're with the kid from August to now, you start knowing everything about that kid as far as sizes and stuff.
Oftentimes, student managers will be a part of the staff for only a year or two. For Dakari, he has had Lane for 3 years as a member of the football department. In that time, Dakari has not only been able to mentor Lane, but has also formed a life-lasting friendship with the senior.
He is one of those kids that really wants to know everything about equipment management. And it's a lot of kids and a lot of people don't know about being an equipment manager, what happens, before practice, after a practice, during practice, before a game, after a game. And with Lane, he wants to know everything. I saw a little bit of Lane in me. That's how I was when I first started. I want to learn. It's not, and Lane teaches me some things. He said, D, how about we do it this way? With him, I let his opinion matter. I said, okay, we'll try it your way. If it works, it works. If it don't, we have to go back to the old way. But he's just, he wants to do the business. He wants to learn the business, and any way I can help him, I will. It really sucks that he's about to leave, but I'm trying to get him on to be with me and, show him, and actually he can show me things. So it's always in this business you always can learn, not just because they're a student, they always still can teach you a few things. It's like a little brother. When we go to out of town, we go out together, and he's like my headset guy. When we go on these trips and we have to go on top of the press box, I'm not a big fan of going up to the top and in the top of a roof. So I say, Lane, do you want to go up there? He was like, well, I'll do it, but I'm not afraid. But he's just that, he's my right-hand man. So I'm glad to have him now, and hopefully we can have him in the future.
Now joining me on set is Lane Staple, who has worked for the WIU football department for 3 years. Lane, what has it been like to work with D?
It's been an awesome experience. He has been a great mentor to me the last 3 years, and he has helped me in every possible way that he can with life, personal issues, school issues, and with equipment managing.
How much does he mean to you?
He means a lot to me. Every day I see him, I'm happy. I'm a better man, and I just enjoy seeing him every day I do.
When I interviewed him, he talked about how he was kind of like the bigger brother, you're the younger brother.
Yep.
How would you describe your relationship?
I would definitely say he's the bigger brother. He helps me out with anything he can. He treats me well. He treats all of us well, and he just does everything he can.
What have you learned from D?
I've learned a lot, from putting on helmets correctly, putting on shoulder pads correctly, taking care of inventory. I've learned a lot of stuff, a lot of innings and outings of the football team.
What's the biggest thing you'll take away from him?
Just the way he continues with life, with all the struggles and difficulties that he has to face here at Western.
All right. Thanks, Lane. It is now time for a commercial break. Stay tuned as Coach Nielsen and I will break down the Missouri Valley Conference along with talking about the upcoming bye week. You're locked into the Pigskin Preview. Welcome back to the Pigskin Preview. Before we get into the conference action, Coach, this week I talked to both Dakari and Lane. Talk a little bit about your WIU equipment staff.
Well, Dee does a great job. He cares about our players, and that's one of the things that equipment people, they have a different relationship with players than coaches do, and it's a big job. There's a tremendous amount of equipment that's being involved, and one of the things that Dee is really on top of, he's on top of new trends in the equipment industry, and obviously a lot of that is related to player safety.
Any sneak previews that we can hear about for the uniforms next year?
That's probably the newest craze in college football is the unique helmets, and so we're looking at some things, and uniforms are important, and the way players look are important to them, and also is an indication of the direction that your program's going.
Any super stylish Oregon-like ones you foresee in the future?
I think we're actually in the process of working with some of our students on campus here to come up with potential new helmet designs right now. We've got some that Tommy Bell is working with, and I'll get final stamp of approval on those, but it'll be interesting to see what they come up with.
There you go. If you don't like it, you come after this guy. Now it's time to take a look at the other Missouri Valley football teams in action this past weekend. Looking at the scores, Youngstown State pulled out a close one to South Dakota State 30-27. South Dakota is blown out by North Dakota State 47-7. Illinois State beat Missouri State 21-7. Southern Illinois lost to Indiana State 41-26. And then, as I said, Western Illinois lost to Northern Iowa. North Dakota State and Illinois State are at the top of the standings at 4-0 marks. Youngstown State with a 3-1 record. South Dakota State, Indiana State, and Northern Iowa 2-2. Southern Illinois 2-3, Missouri State 1-3, Western Illinois 1-4, and South Dakota 0-4. Looking at the games this weekend, Indiana State will host Missouri State. Illinois State will travel west to the Unidome to face Northern Iowa. North Dakota State will host South Dakota State in Fargo. South Dakota will travel east to face Youngstown State. And of course, Southern Illinois and Western Illinois will have a bye week. The Fighting Leathernecks in Week 10 will finally have their bye week. Coach Western has played a loaded schedule. As I mentioned at the beginning of the show, a ton of top 25 teams, a couple of FBS teams to throw in there for fun. What were your thoughts on such a tough schedule to start the season with?
Well, we knew it was going to be a difficult schedule. We knew we were going to have to play well early on, and in many respects, our team has shown a lot of improvement and has shown a lot of improvement every week. It hasn't shown as much in the win-loss column, and some of that is due to the strength of schedule that we've played. And it would have been nice maybe to have the bye week a little bit earlier. As we've had some guys that have gotten banged up here over the schedule, we really needed the break, and we're going to use the break to refresh and regroup and make a great push through the last 3 weeks of the conference schedule. You
talked about it earlier in the show about a few things you're going to work on. What else are you going to work on during the bye week?
There's really 3 points of emphasis. Number one, I mentioned third down, both offensively and defensively. We think we can be a better third down team, and so we're going to do some things during the bye week that will emphasize third down conversion and third down stoppage from the defensive side. The other thing is it's an opportunity to really go back and like you do in preseason camp, address some fundamental things, skill-wise, with not just your players that are playing on Saturday, but with your younger players, and provide them with some repetitions. And the third thing, and most important thing, is we're going to get a jump start in preparation for South Dakota, with a goal of playing our best football and getting a win out there in 2 weeks.
All right. The Leathernecks are off this week for their bye week, but that doesn't mean the Pigskin Preview is also on a bye. Make sure to watch next week for updates on the WIU offense and defense, along with much more. For Coach Nielsen, I'm Andrew Bacon. Thanks for watching.